Are you a dog person or a cat person? Well, for the brand Enfant Riche Déprimé, the answer is clear. They are most certainly dog people. Now, why am I saying that? Well, today we have a video about 2 E.R.D pieces, and the theme of today's video is dogs. Yes, punk, luxury, nihilist, couture fashion, and dogs are not things that you usually put together, but E.R.D has kind of shockingly done so multiple times throughout their years as a brand. And we're also going to take this opportunity to look in depth at how the brand has used kink and bondage imagery and themes throughout their work for years and years and years. This right here is one of my favorite pieces from them. This is not one of the ones we're looking at today. We've already looked at this. Go check out my other video on this one. It's sick. Look, there's a little doggy right there. And what is he wearing? A dog collar. A spiky study dog collar. Inside this bag, that's exactly what I've got. I have got an E.R.D dog collar. Yeah, there's Chrome Hearts oddities. You could buy a Chrome Hearts medicine ball or dumbbells or a thimble. But how about an E.R.D dog collar? We've got that, and we've also got a shirt, which is one of my favorite older graphic pieces from the brand. A really actually unique shirt in the fabrication, the cut, all this stuff. It's also about a dog.
Yes! You're the dog now, man!
So, I think that's enough here. We gotta check out the details of these. Let's dive in. Yo, my Discord has been a blast lately. People have been making deals in there, crazy deals, having crazy discussions. And if you want to be in there, you got to join my Patreon. You'll also get an exclusive video every single month. I post stuff there for sale that I featured on the channel. And you can even get shouted out in videos. Like, for instance, thank you to Henry K for being a $20 patron. If you want your name here, just join up. The link is in the description. Okay, so this is the first piece that we're looking at today. And hopefully you're seeing already where the dog part is coming in, but on top of that, it's just a really good E.R.D t-shirt and one that's different from most of their other ones. So this is a piece from the Autumn-Winter 1819 collection. By this point, they were already using the standard E.R.D neck tag that we've come to know right now. And yeah, it's dirty. You would say like, oh, this shirt's cooked. But listen, if you're not wearing your E.R.D shirts to this point, then you're doing it wrong, I think. They shouldn't be in your closet, like wrapped in plastic. Wait, fuck, I already showed one of my E.R.D pieces wrapped in plastic. Scratch that. Anyway, this is one of my favorite E.R.D graphics. I love this piece to death, and I'm so glad I finally got it. So this one, there's layers to this thing. First, in kind of a slightly italicized font, praying for an accidental, that connecting, I'm assuming, to the overdose, but off to the right, you've got a BDSM kink type of bondage thing, which E.R.D has always been a fan of, especially like Japanese kink stuff they're all about, which is sick. And then you've got this black bar going across the front, very tabloid style, right? And this one, puppy saved from overdose, which is just funny. I do really like when E.R.D injects some humor into their pieces, and this is just an insane thought. I couldn't figure out if this was a real headline. I wouldn't be surprised, like, you know, a puppy got into somebody's Coke or whatever, but just this idea is amusing, but also fucked up and sad, because nobody likes when fucked up shit happens to puppies. It's like the purest thing on earth. And finally, down at the bottom here, we've got a lot going on. And all of this seemingly is related to bondage stuff. And this is where it will connect, right, to the dog collar that we're about to look at, because look at that. What is that? That basically looks like a dog collar to me. One of these might even be a leash. You know what I mean? So obviously there's a connection to bondage here. And finally, you've got Enfant Riche Déprimé, the logo right underneath there, and the season on another black bar, which is just some really nice symmetry and brings it all together. But the other thing worth noting about this piece, first off, it's an interesting cut, which we will see in a bit. This one's tagged to size small. It's got that wide neck, wide, thin neck. Like, it doesn't have the rib neck that most of them have nowadays. It's just the same material as the shirt, nice and wide. And also, the material itself is different. Like, if you take a close look at this material, it is a ribbed jersey fabric, or canvas maybe you'd call it. It is actually like halfway between a t-shirt jersey material and like a crew neck sweatshirt material. So it is quite a bit thicker than the average E.R.D t-shirt, especially the ones from this era, which were mostly the paper thin variety. So this one kind of stands in a unique spot. But I think it's worth asking ourselves, why does E.R.D use dogs as a motif? And I mean, there are multiple reasons, but one of the clearest is that the brand has always been influenced by kink, bondage, sexual deviancy, all of the above. So I want to take this opportunity to dive into the E.R.D archives and look at how that came about and where it came from and where it has gone in the years that the brand has been around. And it started off like pretty crude. Like you've got things like this short sleeve button down here, which is just like naked ladies. Look, oh, shocking. You know what I mean? It's a fun graphic, but I think a bit dated, and other brands have done this over and over since then. But then pretty soon thereafter, they start honing in more specifically on bondage and kink. Like you've got this beautiful jacket right here, and one of the drawings, among many other things and motifs that have been used throughout the brand's history, you have this woman being dressed up in like dominatrixy latex and having a chain put around her neck. That's like as clear bondage as you can get. In that same season, you've got the Dream Corrosion graphic, which, I don't know, I've actually seen this as a t-shirt being sold for pretty cheap, but that image, that graphic, is very, very striking in a way that usually makes the pieces more valuable. I don't know if people just didn't really pay attention to this graphic, but like, that is very clearly a naked, giant, bushed woman tied to a bed or table or something of some kind. Like, that is graphic. Then you've got this other graphic that they used on quite a few pieces. It's the coolest on this leather jacket, I think, where we've got this white print in a circle on the back, and just, it is a woman masked and tied up to some sort of backdrop, you know. You've got the straps of the binding going around the corners of this thing. Super cool piece in a like Bauhausy kind of way, because you've got these interesting angular lines going. Very cool graphic. In keeping with that kind of hand-drawn, cartoonish, cartoon panel type of style, you've got the super heroine piece where you literally have a naked person hanging and in a gimp mask. Like, whew, that's kinky as fuck. And like fucked up, you know. Most people look at that and be incredibly disturbed, and that's what we like about the brand, that it disturbs people. But then something really interesting happens. On top of the graphics, which they have kept doing throughout their time as a brand, they started incorporating into the actual pieces themselves elements from kink and bondage and perverse, I don't know, sexual acts, anything like that. And in this piece right here, you have got a buckled tie strap kind of thing. So it ends up looking like a long red tie, but really like this is an instrument that would be used for erotic asphyxiation, you know, very clearly so. And then in the more mainstream lane, you start getting into the choker territory. For instance, a spiked choker here, a little bit of foreshadowing. And then it starts getting incorporated more overtly in the styling of the pieces. For instance, with these handcuffs here, like this is not, I don't know, a law enforcement type of style right here. This is very clearly a sexual style. In the brand campaign photography at the time, you start getting a lot of leather, a lot of studs, a lot of collars, things like that. And then some of the looks just start turning into pure on bondage, dominatrix style, etc. You've got leather gloves, spiky collars, which are chained up to other pieces of the body. You get chaps, you get assless or really crotchless chaps with leather straps around the body, leather bindings at the arm. Really, I think this entire collection was like the peak of their bondage styling. Like this piece, it's not explicitly bondage, but you've got strapping going across the chest, choker at the neck, a lot of leather, a lot of layered leather and straps and things. It's clear as day. And from there, it was really just a process of incorporating that fully into the design language of the brand. Like the Violator belt that you see on this guy right here is pure bondage and kink. Even the stompery platform boots have like a dominatrixy vibe to them. And I feel like it's become more tasteful over time, like with this women's wear piece right here, the asymmetric straps going around the side with the buckles. It reads, if you really think about it, dominatrix, but it's just a good looking leather piece. And then finally, let's just throw in an outlier right here with this like very outwardly bondage and kinky. Like this is a piece you would find at a sex shop. But I just think it's really cool seeing how all this stuff has been incorporated over the length of the brand. And I want to show you a few examples that I have in hand of pieces that play into this, I think. As far as my collection goes, this one is my personal favorite when it comes to deviant t-shirts and graphics from the brand. And this is just like a low-level kinky, you know, foot worship, trampling, spanking, tickling, enemas, humiliation. You'll love to see it. Probably the most common kink well that the brand goes to over and over again is like Japanese kink. This is the school days long sleeve, and this is one of the craziest. Obviously, it's a super intentionally blown out photo, but by the text you can tell that there's some stuff going on here that is a bit perverse, I guess you could say. One of E.R.D's, I think, most underrated pieces is this one, which is the special family issue Suck mesh long sleeve. And this features art from Toshio Saiki, somebody that they've used a few times. And he's like the godfather of a weirdo Japanese erotic art. And this one's definitely no exception. Insane. And then there are the ways that kink is implemented directly into the design of the garment itself, like this pair of canvas jeans right here, which are very, very much in the bondage lane. Obviously, this harkens back to Vivienne Westwood and such, but I think that E.R.D, they have some sexual deviancy going on within them that has inspired pieces like this, and they're sick. But now we got to get to the kinkiest, bondagiest piece of all. The piece that you've all been waiting for, the dog collar. Inside this bag is the weirdest E.R.D piece I have ever acquired. So this is a large leather bag. I love when they include these, and it's got the branded logo right on the snap button there, but let's get this undone. And the moment of truth. There we go. We can start to see it already. And this thing's hefty. Like, this has some weight to it. There you have it. As promised, I wasn't lying. An E.R.D dog collar. Let's look at the details. So let's start off by looking at the collar itself, and then we can talk about the leash. It's in two pieces. Essentially, this can come undone, but the main collar piece is actually very much in line with the standard rose buckle belts that the brand makes, so it's all very cohesive. So what they do is they craft these big, heavy, chunky buckles. I believe they're nickel, if I remember correctly, and they've got these beautiful roses that are done there, beautiful oxidation to give it this darkened kind of thing like they do with the sterling pieces, and another thing that Chrome Hearts is very known for. So a really nice buckle and very iconic and recognizable as an E.R.D buckle. And as you can see, it's on this really nice green, kind of like painted, pigmented leather. And then the studding here is circular studs that are done very tightly in 3 layers, kind of alternating here. And that goes essentially all the way around this piece until you get to this, which is where the leash hooks on. But we're not done here because you've got multiple belt holes for the collar itself, so multiple sizing options. And then another staple of the brand is this loop right here with the iron cross on it. The shape of that is great. The way it sits is nice. It's just a very striking element here. And then down at the end of the buckle, we've got a metal tip with E.R.D in lowercase fit in on there. I love it. It's so nice. This is the 3rd E.R.D belt, quote unquote, that I've ever had. And I never get over how sick they are. So the sizing, I will say, is unique on this. I'm curious to see how we can make it work, if we can make it work, but we've also got the leash part itself. So you've got this classic hook going on right here, and then this kind of like freely moves, so it's nice and loose. It's a legitimately usable dog collar and leash. And then looped onto here, they've just got a long and skinnier piece of the green leather. It goes around, around, around. Again, very, very long. And then you get to this, where it's snapped shut, and you have multiple sizes of circular studs where it loops for the hand to go. So this is an incredibly functional piece, actually. When you look at it in full, you could 100% use this to walk your dog for real. Do you want to have your dog wearing a like $1,500 collar? That's up to you and how much you're willing to waste, you know. All right, this is insane. I now have to try these on. The shirt, of course, it's going to be easy, but somehow we're going to have to, do I have to wear a dog collar? Is this supposed to be worn? Is this like a fashion piece, like a kinky BDSM thing? Or is it really supposed to be used for dogs? Because I actually don't know. You tell me. But let's see what else we're going to wear these with. All right, so we've got the shirt, we've got the belt, and then I think I'm going to do a fit that's kind of like autumn tonal around it, because I think that'll work with the dark green leather of the, I keep calling it a belt. It's a dog collar. Anyway, for pants, we have got these E.R.D. carpenter jeans, and these ones are great. They're distressed perfectly. The color is like almost a brown maroon. These things are amazing. And then for outerwear, I'm gonna do this aviator bomber jacket in brown leather. This is by Knight of New Zealand. It's like a $3,500 leather jacket, and this belonged to my grandfather, so it's decades old, and the patina is just perfect. And finally, footwear. Let's do this beautiful piece, again with like a kind of iron cross on it, from Mark Nason, made in Italy. All right, so when I started this channel 4 years ago, I did not expect I would be doing a dog-themed video at any point, but here we are, so let's do it. Let's see what happens. First up are the E.R.D. carpenter jeans. This is a really unique color, this hybrid of maroon and brown, and then like the carpenter panels, they're like partway between black and a super, super deep navy blue. I find it really interesting. I've never quite been able to figure out the colors, but the cut is really nice. This is like a staple piece from the brand. Moving right along, keeping with those brown tones, we're putting on the Mark Nason shoes. These are like a cut and sew patched pair of, I don't know, like heeled loafers, like slip-ons. And the patterns here, it just reads to me, always has, as very chrome hearts. And interesting fun fact, Mark Nason like runs Skechers now, essentially, but back in the day, he was making chrome heartsy Italian leather shoes. So who knows what's going on there, but I love these things. But now I've gotta do the Overdose, the Puppy Overdose t-shirt. And as soon as I throw this on, you'll see this fit is sick. Not like the outfit, although I am liking it, but the silhouette, the cut of this t-shirt is so good. This is my favorite type of cut. It is heavily cropped, like it's not quite showing skin, but this is about as cropped as you can get before you start showing skin. But then the shoulders are a little bit dropped, a little bit wide and boxy. I don't know, it's actually similar to the cuts of t-shirt that Pally is doing now, but E.R.D, they really didn't do that many shirts with this cut. But this graphic is great, the wide neck is great, and damn, that crop is good. And the graphics is just striking. Like, this is a head-turning graphic right here. And keep in mind, this is a size small, so really unique silhouette. All right, next up, we gotta somehow see if we can make the dog collar work. I would bring out a dog and just put the collar on the dog, but I don't own a dog. Maybe I should have led with that I bought an E.R.D. dog collar without actually owning a dog. Yeah, dunk on me all you want. I just couldn't let an E.R.D. dog collar pass me by when I had the chance. So since I don't have a dog, I gotta try and use it myself. Get into that BDSM kink domination headspace that E.R.D. are so often in, and I'm definitely not putting this on with the leash attached. So first I'm gonna detach that and then try putting this on. And you know what? It's fun. I don't mind it. It's chunky, it's big, it's a little bit oversized, it hangs down, it feels like you are being constricted or weighed upon in some way, and I think you can see that in what it does to the outfit. So I'm not necessarily mad about it, and I think it's a really unique piece. And then if you want, you can do other things with the leash to accessorize it. Like, I'm gonna hook it in right here to a belt loop and then loop the leash, the hand part around, and suddenly you've just got like a nice matching leather strap that's coming down the pants and an asymmetry. It's actually really nice. So this, I think, would work fine as a fit right here. It would be weird. Again, it would turn heads, but like, if you're into E.R.D, that's kind of what you're going for, right? But I also want to see how this works with some outerwear, so let's throw on the Knight of New Zealand coat, the one that belonged to my grandfather, which you might scoff at, but my man's had style. And this thing, it's the Phoenix jacket. It's decades old, and this is a patina that you can't buy. Money can't buy this. This happens from years and years and years of wear, so it is singular and unique. There's no other jacket on earth that looks like this. And altogether, holy shit. Actually, this is sick. Yo, this is sick. It's got like Western vibes, like a kinky Western. I don't know. I would wear this all day. So the jacket did all sorts of wonderful things for this that I am all about. I don't know. I think the dog collar is going to be the most divisive part of this, but taking a step back and just looking at it all, I'm so about this. And these are both really fun pickups. The t-shirt, obviously much more versatile, much more wearable, but the dog collar, that is just, you know, an E.R.D grail that you can't leave on the table. All right, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. This was a fun one. I hope you enjoyed it. I like just doing a little lighthearted, fun video every now and again. We don't always have to be diving deep into some conspiracy of a brand like I have seemingly been doing a lot lately. But anyway, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know what you think about these pieces. Is it entirely idiotic to be buying an E.R.D dog collar? I don't know. You tell me. Do these engagement-y things that help me in the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you next time.